Hello everyone, welcome to Informatica support videos. I'm Durga from Informatica GCS here to present you on how to collect the XDOCs of resource in EDC using the Swagger APIs. And here comes our agenda where we are gonna see about the XDOCs overview, provider ID collection, XDOCs collection using the API, downloading the complete XDOCs published by the scanner, and then references. Let's see about the XDOCs overview. During the process of the MIT metadata extraction from source systems, XMI creation is done and then the XMI is converted to XDOCs for all the objects inside the resource. During the staging phase of the resource, it stores the generated XDOCs in the local file system in the processing node under a couple of directories called temp and the cluster custom directory until the publish is completed. Under staging, the XDOCs are picked up and given return to the MongoDB. And if it contains 3 cluster nodes, the same collection will be copied to all the cluster nodes also. And XDOCs contains the complete history of the objects of a resource. And we can understand the links between the objects, attribute values, association of the objects, and object IDs, and so on. If we want to have an export or the backup of the enrichments that we have performed to the resource, we can have a download of the XDOCs. Yeah, this is an example for XDOC subsets, where we can find all the associations and relationships and object attributes, etc. And yeah, let's get into the provider ID collection, which is nothing but the scanner ID, and it's a very importantly case sensitive parameter. We have two ways to collect the provider ID. Either we can use the direct link, which is HTTPS or HTTP host port access 1 catalog resource and giving the resource name. We can use this directly in the web browsers, or we can use it in the Swagger UIs using the link HTTP or HTTPS host port and access. We have to select the spec as internal, and under the resource controller section we'll be having a get resource API, which is like this, and we have to provide the resource name, and then executing will be providing us the scanner ID. As you could see, one of the test Oracle scanner that I have scanned, and this is how the scanner ID will be, which is nothing but a provider ID. And this provider ID will be used further in the XDOCs APIs which we'll be seeing about. Yeah, this is how the XDOCs collection need to be done, either by using the direct link, where we'll be giving the resource name and provider ID, offset value, and the page size value. This offset and the page size can be configured based on your requirement on how much the data limit that we have to collect. Or either we can use the Swagger UI, which is nothing but LDM host port and access. We have to select the spec as internal, and under the data controller version 1 section we'll be having the get exchange documents as like this. We have to provide the resource name and the provider ID, and when we execute we'll be able to collect the XDOCs in the JSON format. Or we can either collect the XDOCs in the zip format by downloading it using the another API, which is nothing but download XDOCs for a collection in zip format. This is how we'll be able to download the zip file, and either the complete URL can be used or the Swagger UI can be used. Under the section of data controller version 1, we'll be having this download XDOCs for a collection in zip format API. We have to provide the resource name and the scanner ID, and when we execute we'll be collecting the zip file of the XDOC. And here is the references, some of the reference links that I have provided for you. And let's get into the demo. This is for our Swagger UI, and I'm changing the spec to internal. We have a section called resource controller. Under that we'll be having this get resource API, where we'll be using it to collect the provider ID. So click on it and click on try it out. Give the resource name. I'm just taking an Oracle resource for the demo. And when we click on execute, we'll be prompted to login page if we are not logged in. Yeah, when we execute, we'll be having this response body, and this is the scanner ID. that we can use it in the XDOCs collection APIs. Let me copy this. This is the scanner ID, Oracle scanner. And let's go to the XDOCs collection. We have a section called Data Controller V1. Under that, we'll be having a API, get exchange documents. Click on try it out. Give the provider ID and then the resource name. And when we click on execute, this is how the XDOCs of the resource. I have just collected for the first 20 entries. Page size is given as 20 and the first set of 20 has been collected over here. Based on your requirement, you can change the page size to the values. And the size is integer 32. And you can also download the XDOCs in the JSON format. And also we can collect the complete exchange file, XDOCs file, as a zip file. The same section we'll be having another API which is download XDOCs for a collection in the zip format. Click on try it out. Same way, provide the resource name and the provider ID that we have collected. Click on execute. We'll be prompted to download a file, that is a zip file where we can collect all the XDOCs. We would love to hear from you. Please reach out to us on supportvideos@informatica.com, Twitter @infasupport. Thank you everyone.